All right, we are going to talk about weather forecasting. So weather forecasting is typically done by people called meteorologists or scientists who study the causes of weather and then try to predict it. In order to try to predict the weather, meteorologists typically use maps, charts, and computers, and they analyze a bunch of data and prepare weather forecasts. And the types of maps, charts, and computer programs that they use are surface weather reports, upper air reports, Doppler radar, and station models. So under weather reports, you're going to see a surface weather report, and you're going to use this when you do your own forecasting. And this is a description of a set of weather measurements made on the Earth's surface, and it shows fronts, pressure, isobars, and precipitation. So you're going to see the fronts here. Remember, this is a stationary front. You've got your warm front, you've got your cold fronts. I don't see an occluded on this one, but then you also have your precipitation. And then you're going to see these things called isobars, all of these lines right here. And essentially what they do is they connect all the joining places that have the exact same pressure on the map. And so you get this wiggly, wavy little area, okay, that show areas of low pressure and areas of high pressure. The upper air weather reports look like a nightmare. They describe wind, temperatures, and humidity conditions above the Earth's surface. So all of these little things show you wind, temperature, and humidity, as well as the direction of the wind and the strength of the wind. This also has your fronts on it and all your isobars on it, as well as temperature bars or isotherms that tell you the temperature connections that each place has. So these things are a mess. We won't really use these because we'll leave this to the pros. Doppler radar. This is used as a special type of radar that detects precipitation as well as movement of small particles, and can be used well to approximate wind speed. So you guys have all seen this. This is what they show on the news whenever we have a big storm coming, and it tells you what type of precipitation we're having, and then some of them actually move and show you the direction they're moving, and these are the clouds or the big areas of the storms that are going over us. The temperature reports, these basically show both high and low temperatures for different locations. So you'll see Denver is right here, 87 and 37, and Colorado Springs maybe 88 and 48. You can kind of figure out where they're located based on just looking at any U.S. map. Okay, and then you have station models. These are the diagrams that display data for many different weather measurements for a particular location. So when we look back to this and we see each of these little numbers on here and the symbols and stuff, they tell us a lot of information. So what are they telling us? One, this little thing right here, the little circle, tells you the total amount of clouds, or whether the sky is completely covered. It tells you kind of what your cloud cover is. Then it tells you what your cloud type is. They each have their own individual symbols, which I won't make you memorize. I'll give you a sheet with that. They'll give you the cloud type, the barometric pressure at sea level. So at sea level, what's the air pressure? It'll tell you the change in the past 3 hours, so whether it's rising or whether it's falling. That should tell you whether the temperature is going to be decreasing or increasing. Remember, we talked about pressure and high pressure and low pressure and the temperatures of those air pressure systems. Then we have a sign showing whether the air pressure is higher or lower, and then whether in the past 6 hours we'd had rain, and you'll see those on there. On the thing I'll show you in a sec. Then we have the amount of precipitation in the last 6 hours, so not just rain, so like how much has actually fallen. Part of the sky that's covered by the lowest cloud, the height of the cloud base, so sometimes it's really low and then you know that the clouds are really close to Earth's surface, and sometimes it's really high and you know it's really high in the atmosphere. We've got your cloud type. We've got your dew point, so remember back when I explained dew point and how that's when the air can hold no more water, and so therefore it goes to dew point. So that's in degrees Fahrenheit, so that will tell you what the temperature would be when dew point is hit. The present weather, okay, what's going on, continuous sight snow and flakes, so that would be what that means. The visibility, how far you can see. The temperature, current temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. The direction of the wind, so essentially wherever this is pointing tells you the direction of the wind. And then the wind speed, so however many little flags it has tells you how much the wind is blowing. So here is the biggest model ever. Okay, so you have your warm fronts, cold fronts, occluded fronts, stationary fronts, then each of the different cloud cover symbols, and it does it in eighths. So in other words, if there are no clouds, if there's 1/8 covered, there's 2/8 covered, 3/8 covered. So it doesn't actually do it in like you're dividing the circle by 8. It has to do with where the lines are. Again, I won't make you memorize that, but you're going to need it when you do your own forecasting. It tells you the different cloud type signals or symbols, the wind direction, which way to put your little flag, the wind speed tells you how fast it's going in weather we measure in knots. Tells you the barometric tendency, whether it's rising or whether it's falling, what everything means again, whether there's high or low pressure, and the current weather symbols, so what's going on, the rain, whether it's light, moderate, or not at all, intermittent, so if it's steady or intermittent, it has different symbols. There's a lot of big stuff that this tells you. So I hope that all makes sense and that you are able to use it as you go through your own weather forecasting project. So let me know if you have any questions. All right, thanks.